I'm Betty Green, and I want to invite you to share some time with me because we're going to talk with the old family in the church today. And I'm happy to say I know that family very well. We're going to talk about Leroy Gordon's family, and with us we have Shirley Gorden, and she's going to tell us a little bit about her family.
Well, it's a pleasure to be a part of this. My father's name was Leroy Gordon. And in 1942, my father's parents moved from New Albany, Mississippi to South Bend, Indiana, along with the Graham family relatives. My grandparents resided at 421 Arnold Street, which is off of Western Avenue. Now, my father was still in the Army, and he was honorably discharged in 1946. So in 1946, Leroy Gordon married my mom, Ernestine O'Neill, in 1946. And they also migrated to South Bend and resided with his parents on Arnold Street. I really don't recall my grandparents attending church, but the other family members that migrated here, they were active. So in 1946, 1947, my parents joined St. John Missionary Baptist Church under the pastoral leadership of Reverend Bernard White Sr. My father, he joined the senior usher board and remained an usher until his death. He took his job very serious as a doorkeeper in the house of the Lord. He did not allow his children to unnecessarily talk with one another, chew gum, and certainly not sit in the old church balcony. He believed if you gave a start time for an event, that's when it was supposed to start. He was always truthful. So if you ask him what he thought, he would tell you even if it was not what you wanted to hear. Now, many celebrations were held at the church in honor of my parents, and how the church felt about them was illustrated in their big turnouts. As a member of the usher board, he held the position of president, critic, and drill instructor. He was also chairperson for the March Rally Group 8. Ernestine Gordon. My mother graduated from high school in Tupelo, Mississippi. She was an only child, and she visited her father who lived in Chicago every summer. Ernestine waited patiently for Leroy Gordon to be discharged from the service so they could begin their life together. Mother was a petite and quiet, well-mannered lady who wanted her children to speak properly. We were constantly, and I do mean constantly, corrected when we would say, "Where you at?" She would say, "No, it is, where are you?" My mother was a member of the missionary and the Sunday school. During one of the Women's Day programs, my mother was asked to give the prayer. I had never heard her pray other than to bless the food and teach us our nightly prayers. She prayed so well, as if she were having a one-on-one with God. And I was so proud of her. It was then I realized that this quiet person was certainly a prayer warrior. Now, my parents, they were very supportive of church events and encouraged their six children to become active in church. All the children sung in the children's choir under the direction of Bertha Carpenter. From there, they moved to the junior and senior usher board. My brothers were van drivers. One of my brothers was a Sunday school teacher for the junior boys. I'm the director of the church plays. I continued with all the singing choirs. And I am so glad to be a part of this 100th church anniversary. It has really been a blessing and a sight to behold. That's really about what my parents were, where they came from, what they did, and how supportive they were for their children.
Now, Shirley, I grew up with your father because I was here at Greater St. John. What was his favorite saying? And he said it all the time, and he had that smile on his face. What was that, Shirley?
Well, Betty, the only thing I ever remember him saying was, I won't complain.
That was it. Because you could ask Brother Gorden any day, any time. If it was a blizzard outside, he'd say, oh, I won't complain.
Right.
I made it here to church.
Yes.
And
yes,
I remember
that's
your
exactly
mother
what
from
he
Sunday
said.
school class.
Mhm.
Oh, such a sweet woman. See, taking me back, making me remember the things that I grew up with under the Gordons. And so it's such a pleasure that you're here. Now tell us the names of your sisters and brothers, because they all were active and are still active in
Yes.
church.
The oldest sister is Jacqueline, and then there's me, Shirley, Beverly, Leroy Gordon Jr., Ernest Gordon, and Tracy. That about wraps it up. That takes care of
And I
us.
believe Tracy is on the usher board.
Tracy is on the
She's
usher
following in her
board.
father's footsteps.
Yes, she is, because she started out with the choir, then she moved to the junior usher board and moved on up to the senior usher board.
Oh, that is wonderful. What a wonderful history that you're telling us about your family. Such a legacy.
Yes, it is.
Now, is there anything else that you'd like to tell us about your family?
No, I think that just about wraps it up. It was a delight to have them as parents. They set the standard for us, and we have not wavered from that standard. Just a blessing to have them as parents.
And it's such a blessing that I got a chance to know the Gordons. I was in Sunday school class with your mother, and then of course I knew Mr. Leroy because he was at that door. And if you did something wrong, he didn't care who you were, whose child you were. He would tell you, but he always had that beautiful smile and telling you, I won't complain. So Shirley, I want to thank you for bringing back such wonderful memories. And then also, why are you still here at St. John, Shirley?
Betty, I'm glad you asked. I remember my father saying, and this has never left me, every church has problems, some worse than others. So stay where you are, pray about it, remain steadfast, and trust in the Lord. I love my church, and I know my church. I've seen and heard a lot after being here 65 years, and I have no desire to go elsewhere. And like you said, Ben, I won't complain.
Isn't that wonderful? We want to thank you all for watching this segment of our interviews. It's been a pleasure for us to bring them, and we will continue. We have coming up pretty soon, in the near future, Miss Adeline, and we also want to look at our oldest living member, and hopefully we will have a chance we can talk to Mrs. Louise Bailey. We're not sure, but we're planning to do that. And we're going to talk about some of the groups, the willing workers, and some of the other groups that are no longer with us, but were a part of making St. John the church that it is. And thank you for helping us to celebrate our 100th year anniversary.